Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my September TBR, and I feel like that is a slightly misleading title because all of these books on my TBR are books that I am actually in the middle of reading. So I have, for some reason, over the past 2 months, started so many books and finished none of them. So all of these books I'm going to carry into September. But before we go ahead and get on into the TBR, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box for links to all of my social media, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways from me. The first book that's a carryover from August is Golden Fool by Robin Hobb. This is book 2 in the Tawny Man trilogy, and I should have had this done by the end of August, but I just started it and I've only gotten through chapter 1. If you guys watched my Fool's Errand review, you know that I absolutely loved it. It was such a good book. I gave it 5 stars, and I am so excited to get back into this world, and already chapter 1 has gripped me, and I'm just excited to see what happens with Fitz and Jenna and Hap and Dutiful. So definitely one that I will be finishing in the month of September. Definitely in the next 2 weeks I'll be able to get it done, and I am listening to this on audio via script. The next carryover is Emperor of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. This is book 3 in the Broken Empire trilogy. So this was chosen by one of my patrons, Andre, as a book for me to read and review last month, and then he asked me so kindly to do a why you should read on the whole series, and I just didn't get to it. But these books, or at least the last 2, were super quick to get through, and I really enjoyed them. I find Mark Lawrence's prose really, really gripping, and the story is really good. It's fast, the dialogue is fast. So another book that will be easy for me to get through, but this is an adult grimdark fantasy that follows a boy named Jorg, and in the first book we learned that his mother and brother were murdered by this count, and his father did nothing to avenge their deaths. So Jorg kind of goes on this revenge mission, but then we learn more about him and his backstory, and each book follows him as he's a little bit older. And I'm really excited to see how the story is wrapped up because Andre said it was really, really good. As for the books that I'm currently in the middle of reading, you guys are going to think I'm absolutely insane for reading all these books at one time. I do not normally do this, but the first one is Dune by Frank Herbert. I'm on page 303 of this book, and it is one that I said I would give myself all the way through August and September to read just because I wanted to go slowly and make sure that I was grasping everything. I found that the first 300 pages were a lot of setup with regards to the world, kind of the conspiracy against the Duke, the way that the political system is set up, the background of Arrakis. So a lot of setup, and I stopped right when Paul and his mother were kidnapped and escaped, so it was a good place to like stop, and I feel like the story is definitely going to pick up from here. However, I put this book down because I've just been in a weird headspace lately, and I found that the story wasn't gripping me, and I felt that my mind was wandering every time I was reading it, and I did not want that to happen with Dune. So my audiobook from my library expired, so I put another hold on it. So hopefully I can get the audiobook again at some point in September to help me get through this. I do want to finish it. I do plan on finishing it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's definitely just me and my headspace. And because I was such in a weird headspace and put Dune down, I picked up The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. This is a reread for me. I have read this one other time, and I was probably in high school. I haven't read it since, but it is one of my favorite like musicals. So I don't know, I was just feeling like a gothic romance rather than like a political sci-fi. I'm only on page 50 of this, and I do want to finish it. It's like a 300-page book, maybe less, so it's a good classic to kind of just fit on into the month of September, kind of maybe get the fall Halloween vibe started, because it does have some creepy elements, some gothic elements to this story. So it is a book that I wasn't planning on reading and kind of just added on a whim, but I do want to see it through to the end. And the next 2 books I'm in the middle of, but I don't know if I'm going to continue in September, is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is a reread for me, so it's not a huge priority. And another reason is I was waiting for the audiobook from my library. It became available, but then I let my husband listen to it because I'd been bothering him for like years to read this book, and he drives a lot for work, so he can listen in the car. And I don't think he's going to finish by the time it's due back to the library, so I'm going to have to put another hold on it and then wait for him to finish. So by the time I actually get this audiobook, it will probably be like 2 months. And it's just, like I said, a reread for me. I am absolutely loving being back in this world and with these characters, and I'm just picking up on things that I don't remember happening the first time I read it, like 4 or 5 years ago. So if I can finish everything else, then I do want to jump back into the lives of Locke and Lamora, and I do want to get this reread done by end of year. I just don't know if September is going to be the month I'll be able to fit it into. And another book that I've been in the middle of for a while is Valor by Gwynn. So one of my goals was to actually finish the entire Faithful and the Fallen series in 2021 because I want to read Shadow of the Gods, and I don't want to be in the middle of like 2 series of his. And I just got stuck on Valor. I'm on page 350. So I'm about halfway through this and I just got stuck and I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling engaged. So I put it down. And every time I think about picking it up again, I just don't get motivated to do so. So I decide to pick up something else instead, which is the problem. So it's not that I'm hating this and I do want to finish the series. I just think I have to be in the mood for like your traditional sword and sorcery type of story with elemental magic. And I was a bit bored. So that's all I can say. If I get through everything else in September, then I will jump back into Valor. If not, then it's going to take another backseat. And then lastly is our buddy read for the month of September, and that is Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. So this is the first book in his like standalone trilogy, and I know that it takes place in the First Law world. I don't know if you have to have read the First Law trilogy in order to read the standalones. I think that it does provide some context, but I don't know for sure if you have to have read them. And I'm very excited about this because I just have been in the mood for a Joe Abercrombie book, like his character development, his writing, just the grittiness of his worlds. And when we decided to read this for September, like several months ago, it's me and Andrew over Andrew's Wizardly Reads and Dom at Diminished Books. We're going to be reading this together in Epic Tales. So when we finally decided to do a buddy read for this, like I have been looking forward to this buddy read for months because I'm just excited to read more Abercrombie. That's really all I can say. I don't know anything about this book. I don't know what to expect. I'm just looking forward to new characters and good grimdark. All right, you guys, so that is it for my September TBR, including all of the books that I somehow am in the middle of reading. I know for a fact I'm going to prioritize Dune, Best Served Cold, and Golden Fool. The other ones will just be kind of fillers in when I have time. But let me know in the comments what books you are reading in the month of September, or if you're in the middle of anything good, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.